Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be creating some cake nails, but before we get started, I wanted to show you this adorable PR box I received from Beetles called the Taste of Spring collection. I got this collection a little while ago and have been wanting to share it with you guys because the packaging is honestly so cute. Just a little disclaimer, this video isn't sponsored. The collection was gifted to me, but all my opinions are my own. Let's take a look inside. The box is designed with 3 different sections. You have the top compartments with the main products, and then there's these little pull-out drawers underneath. The packaging alone completely sold me. I thought it was such a creative idea. Everything is displayed so nicely, and the whole spring theme is just so adorable. One of my favorite things is that it comes with a swatch display already put together. Normally you have to swatch all the colors yourself, so I thought this was like a really nice touch. It makes it so easy to see all the shades included in the collection right away. The box also comes with this handmade grape-shaped soap, which is such a fun little addition. It smells absolutely divine, and they even included a small mesh pouch to keep the soap in. Next up, you get a set of nail brushes. You also get a bunch of different brush types, which makes it really practical for nail art and detail work. There are also some nail stickers included with really sweet designs. You also get this cuticle oil, which is honestly so cute. Just look at the little charms attached to the bottle. It's such a pretty detail. Definitely something I'm gonna have to keep in my bag for on-the-go use. There's also this solid nail gel in like a jelly pink shade. I haven't tried a sculpting product in a jelly pink shade before, so I'm really excited to use this in the future. You also get this little charm container with a strawberry resin charm on the side. It holds all of these tiny nail charms, which I'll show you more closely later. On top of that, there's a glitter top coat as well as a regular top coat and a base coat. Again, I will show you more up close later. And these are all the colors from the swatch display I showed earlier. I'll have the names on the screen here for easy reference. We also have these press-on nail tips that feature colored friendships in each of the shades included in the collection, so you don't have to paint your own French tips, and I absolutely love that. I will definitely be using these eventually. The collection also comes with a buffing block and a 100 and 180 grit hand file. You have a gel glue that's perfect for rhinestones or 3D nail art, a silicone sculpting pen for the sculpting gel, some slanted tweezers, which are always handy, and this adorable strawberry nail clipper. I think this is like the cutest thing ever. We also have this silicone mold for creating charms, also with a mini flash lamp. Just keep in mind that this should not replace a full-sized nail lamp. Now that we've covered everything included in the collection, let's jump right into the nail application, starting with prep. First, I'm going to trim down my natural nails so that they don't peek from underneath my extensions. If you're currently trying to grow out your natural nails, just feel free to skip this step. Next, I'm going to clean up my cuticles using the Sally Hansen Instant Cuticle Remover. I'll apply it around the cuticle area, let it sit for about 10 seconds, and then gently push everything back with a metal cuticle pusher. This helps lift away any dead skin from my nail plate and really cleans up the area. Proper cuticle prep can make a huge difference when it comes to preventing lifting, so it's definitely a step I don't like to skip. And once everything is finished, I'll wash everything off with soap and water. After that, I'll use my cuticle nippers to carefully trim away any excess skin around the cuticles. This step isn't absolutely necessary, but I like to personally do it to get a more cleaner and polished look. Then I'm going to take my mini buffing block and gently buff the surface of my natural nails to remove the shine and create a little bit of texture for better adhesion. You can also use a sanding band to speed up this process. Just make sure you're using a fine grit at a low speed around 5,000 RPM. Personally, I prefer using a buffing block because it just gives me a little bit more control. Next, I'm going to dehydrate my nails using this Protein Prep Vitamin from Sweetie Nail Supply. This is essentially going to remove any oils and debris from the nail plate and properly prep the nails for product adhesion. Once that's dry, I'm going to go in with the Young Nails Protein Bond. This is a primer, and I'm going to apply a thin layer to each nail and let it air dry for about 3 minutes. This will also help adhesion and reduce the chances of lifting. After that, I'm going in with the Jello Peel Off Base Coat because I want to be able to remove these nails by peeling them off rather than soaking them off. So I'm going to apply a thin layer to each nail, cure it for 60 seconds, and then repeat with a second thin layer, curing again for 60 seconds. So in total, I'll be applying 2 coats and curing in between each layer. If you're not using a peel-off base coat and you're doing Gel X as a long-term set, you can simply skip this step. Now it's time to size out my nail tips. I already have a pretty good idea of my sizing, so I don't mind doing this after my peely base coat. However, if you're not familiar with your sizes, you may find it easier to do this beforehand. I'm just going to go through and find the correct size for each of my nails, then set them aside so that they're ready to go. But like I said, since I already know my sizing, this was pretty quick for me. When sizing your nails, you want to make sure that they fit comfortably from sidewall to sidewall without pinching the natural nail. If you're in between sizes, it's usually better to size up and lightly file the sides for a custom fit. The tip should sit flush against your nails from sidewall to sidewall for the most natural looking application. Next, I'm going to take a sanding band and at a low speed of around 5,000 RPM, lightly etch the backside of each extension. Mine happens to be around 240 grit, but the exact grit isn't really important for this step. Etching the backside of your extensions is really going to help with adhesion. I've skipped this step a few times in the past, and every single time I did, my extensions ended up popping off. So ever since then, I always take the extra minute to do this, and I've noticed a huge difference in my retention. Make sure you thoroughly etch the entire contact area so that the underside of the tip has a good surface to bond to. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and use my nail glue. I'll apply a thin layer of this onto my etched extension and adding a little extra product near the cuticle. Then I'll place the extension onto my nail at about a 45-degree angle and slowly press it down until the gel reaches my free edge. This helps minimize air bubbles and ensures full contact between the extension and my natural nail. Once the tip is in place, I'll flash cure it under my gooseneck nail lamp for 15 seconds to hold everything in place. After that, it's very important to fully cure the nails in a full-size nail lamp for 60 to 90 seconds. Just do that after flash curing each tip on. Now, if you're not using a peel-off base coat and you're applying these as a longer wear Gel X set, there's one extra step I recommend. After applying your primer, apply a thin layer of your gel glue directly onto your natural nails, fully cure it for 60 seconds, and then proceed with applying your extensions as normal. And no matter what, once you flash cure your nail tips, make sure you fully cure it in a full-size nail lamp to ensure that the product is completely cured. Next, I'm going to grab my e-file and set it to around 6,000 RPM, and then I'll start thinning out the cuticle area of my extensions. Since I applied the tips very close to the cuticle, I'm being extra gentle in this area and keeping my drill bit parallel to my natural nails at all times. I'm just making a few light passes around the cuticle area until everything looks nice and seamless. These extensions are already quite thin at the cuticle by itself, but I like to do this step anyways. It only takes a few seconds and it really helps create a more natural transition between the extension and my natural nail. At the same time, I'm also adding a little bit of texture to the surface of my extensions, especially around the edges and the free edge. This is just going to help the gel product grip onto my extension better and reduce the chances of any peeling later on. And once I'm happy with the blending, I'll dust everything off and go in with my hand file. I'm using a 100 and 180 grit hand file from a cart to slightly refine the shape and soften some of those sharper corners of my extensions. And after filing, I'm going to take a small amount of acetone on an oval brush and carefully run it around my cuticle area. You don't need a lot of acetone on your brush, just enough to slightly soften the edges of that extension. And this will help melt the extension into your natural nails and it creates a super seamless blend. Honestly, this is my personal favorite step in the entire Gel X process because it instantly makes everything look so much more natural. Once that's done, I'll also take some rubbing alcohol on a lint-free wipe and thoroughly cleanse my nails to remove any dust, debris, or residue before moving on to any gel products. Now I'm going in with this builder gel. It's definitely stronger than a rubber base, but honestly, I was really drawn to this color and have been wanting to try it out on camera for a while now. I haven't featured it in a video yet, and I was just so excited to finally be able to play around with this today. So I'm going to start with a thin slip layer, and this acts as a base layer that allows the builder gel to glide more smoothly across the nail, and it helps the product build up. Once that's down, I'll pick up a larger bead of builder gel and gently float it across the extension from side to side, working my way towards the free edge. Then I'll flip my nail upside down for a few seconds and let gravity help level everything out. Using my liner brush, I'll help guide the product and refine the structure as it levels, and I'm focusing on building a smooth, even apex and making sure that the product is evenly distributed from the cuticle to the free edge. The apex is basically the highest point of the nail that gives it strength and structure. On longer extensions, it's usually placed slightly behind the center of the nail to help support the stress area rather than directly in the middle. And once I'm happy with the shape and everything is evenly self-leveled, I'll cure the nail. Then I'll repeat the same process on each nail. Slip layer, builder gel, self-level, refine and shape, and cure. At this point, I honestly wasn't completely sure where I wanted to go with this design, so I placed all the colors from the collection onto my palette and started playing around with different ideas. I ended up grabbing the liner brush from the collection and picked up that orange shade to create a French tip. For my French tips, I always use the same method. I started by drawing guidelines where I want my smile line to begin, and then I created a V shape down the center of the nail, and after that I connected the guidelines to the V, which gives me a really crisp, deep French. This technique works really well for me every time and is definitely my go-to method. And once I had that outline finish, I picked up more polish directly from the bottle and used the brush to fill in the rest of my French tip. I repeated the same process using the green and purple shades, creating a few colorful French tips throughout the set. Then I decided, why not throw in an ombre nail too? So I grabbed the pink shade and started blending it with my ombre brush. I tried my best to get like a really soft transition between the colors, but I have to be honest, I still struggle with my ombres sometimes. They're definitely not my strongest nail art technique. So to help blend everything a little bit more, I also grabbed a small makeup sponge and I lightly dampened it with some rubbing alcohol. I made sure to dab off any excess on a lint-free wipe first, and then I just picked up a little bit of the pink polish and gently dabbed it onto my transition area. And this just helps soften any streaks between the builder gel and the color and makes the ombre look a little bit more seamless. And I ended up really liking how that turned out. So I also went ahead and fully coated my thumb with the same pink shade for a clean, solid nail color. Then I remembered the glitter top coat that came in the collection, and I was like, why not add this fun glitter top coat on top? And I originally applied it over the entire nail, but after looking at it, I felt like it would be cuter if the glitter was more concentrated down towards the ombre area. So I rearranged the glitter while the top coat was still wet and gently moved those pieces around so that they gathered more towards the pink base and like the lower part of the design. It ended up giving like this really cute funfetti frosting moment, and it reminded me of strawberry cake. I liked it so much, so I decided to do the same thing on my thumb as well. I also took a little bit of time to manually position some of those larger glitter pieces so that they were placed more intentionally, like the red and blue sprinkles just kind of makes the design feel a little bit more balanced and intentional overall. I'm pretty sure I got this icing mold from Temu. I'll try to link it down below for you guys if I can. And I started by taking a white gel polish and painting the inside of the mold using a small liner brush. If you have a white builder gel, I would honestly recommend using that instead. It will save you a lot of time. I just don't have one on hand, so I'm just going to do a few layers of white gel polish instead. So I applied a thin layer and cured it, and for demonstration purposes, I'm using a flash cure lamp here, but I actually fully cured it in my full-size nail lamp between each step. So the process is apply your first white layer, fully cure it, and then move on to your structure layer. And for my structure layer, I'm using this rhinestone gel that was included in the kit to fill in the mold. I'm not worrying too much about perfection at this stage. I'm just making sure that the mold is fully filled, and then I'm gonna cure it completely. Once cured, I carefully remove the pieces from the mold using tweezers, making sure not to bend it too much because they can snap. They are a little bit fragile that way. They do have some flexibility, but bending it too much can cause them to break. And I ended up making a few different shapes, some of these half circle French icing pieces, and a few oval style icing designs as well. Then I go in with my rhinestone gel glue again and start applying these pieces onto my nails, positioning them where I want my 3D designs to sit. And I had to do a lot of experimenting here with the oval pieces and the French icing pieces, just trying to shape them around my nail, cutting things up. And for this icing French, I ended up making more of those pieces and cutting them to extend them a little bit more so that they follow the curve of my almond nail shape better. And for those oval pieces, I was going to put around my thumb. I also had to cut and reshape those to make them fit more properly around my nails. It was a bit of trial and error, but once I figured out the spacing and the shape of them, it became a lot easier to place them nicely. But yeah, after everything was positioned, I went in and coated all of those 3D icing pieces with a layer of white gel polish to kind of unify the look. And then I fully cured everything. This part did take a little bit of time, so I did most of it off camera. But the idea is just to make the pieces look a little bit more consistent and finished after they're on the nail. Then I went back in with my white gel polish and used a dotting tool to add details onto my French tips. I probably should have done this step before applying the icing mold, but like I said, I was kind of improvising this entire set and figuring things out as I went. Ideally, this kind of detailing would go underneath the 3D designs, but it still kind of worked out in the end. So I added that dotted pattern across the French tips to add a little bit more detail. And then I moved on to charms. I decided to go with this cherry-inspired theme. And I found these small and medium cherry pieces that fit perfectly with the vibe I was going for. So I used the smaller piece in the center of my heart icing design, and that larger one worked really well on my thumb, so I placed everything down with the rhinestone gel and flash cured it in place to lock it. After that, I went in with some pink pearls for some accents. I usually go with the white pearls, but I wanted to switch it up and see how the pink would look on this set, and I think it turned out pretty cute. So I just put some of the smallest ones onto my palette so that they're easier to pick up. And then I used the rhinestone gel to place them onto my nails, just around that icing design. And once everything is in place, I fully cured the design for 60 seconds to make sure everything was locked in. Now I'm going to go in with one of my absolute favorite top coats. This is the Mayo Glassy Gel Top Coat. I got it from Sweetie Nail Supply, and it self-levels so beautifully, which makes it perfect for sets like this where you have a lot of 3D elements. So it really helps melt everything together visually without disrupting the design. I'm going to apply this over the entire set, the pearls, the molds, the polish, everything. And it gives a super glossy finish, and it's non-yellowing, and it holds its shine really well over time. Honestly, it's just a really high quality top coat. Once that's cured, I'm going to finish with some cuticle oil to rehydrate the skin and bring everything back to life. This one is rose scented and it smells amazing. And here are the finished nails. I just wanted to have fun with this set today and create something a little bit more playful, and this cake-inspired nails really took the cake. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I also really enjoyed testing out this spring collection from Beetles. It had so many cute elements in there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!